right, welcome. This is Reformed TV, and in this episode, we are going to answer the question, what is exegesis? What is exegesis? This is a unique, difficult word. Some of you might not have heard this word or ever read about this word. But the definition of exegesis is simply this. It is to extract out of, is to draw out of. That means when we talk about exegesis, is drawing out the meaning of the text from the text. It is different from reading the meaning into the text. You must have the text before you and then look at that particular text and take the meaning out of that particular text. And how do you do that? In order to do your exegesis, that means you are to apply the hermeneutical principles that we as well touched in the previous episode. Get the one meaning of the text, use the context of the text, look at the words, and then get the literal meaning. Look at the grammar, and look at the related passages that are close to you, right there, that's the context. Now you apply the hermeneutical principle to get the meaning out of the text. Can we get maybe one particular example for exegesis? I want to draw your attention to Matthew chapter 16, in verse 18, just to show you what exegesis really looks like and how it is done. I'm reading verse 18. I also say to you that you are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overpower it. First, you look at the meaning of this section. What is the text saying, and what does that mean? The text before us here is simply saying to us that Jesus will build his church. Jesus will build his church. Now we want to really do the exegesis here, because you do exegesis by drawing out the meaning from the text. Now let's look at the text. You observe right there, the I in verse 18, I also, that's the Lord Jesus in that verse. How do we know? Because the context tells us in verse 13. Now when Jesus came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, he was asking his disciple, who do people say that the Son of Man is? The I is Jesus who's speaking in this verse. What he's saying, say to you, and who's the you? You go back to the text as well in the context, and you find it as addressing the disciples. Where do we get that? Verse 13. He was asking his disciples. That's the you in verse 18. And you are Peter, and he identified the apostle that he is specifically right now addressing. And he wanted this to go directly to him. And why does he want him to really hear this? Because of the statement that the Apostle Peter uttered in verse 16 when he said, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And now he zoomed in and you want to address the Apostle Peter. And you're busy with your exegesis of the text. You want to see from the text and draw this from the passage here and let the people understand. And he said, you are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church. Again, in your exegesis, you are to use your principles, the literal principle, the grammatical principle. Let's apply that. You've got the word, you are Peter, and that word Peter right there in the original is the word Petros. The word Petros, which refers to a stone that is tangible, a stone that you can carry, the stone that you can throw away. You are Petros, that's Peter there. And upon this rock, it's a play of words. The rock right there is translated rock, but the original should mean Petra. So Jesus is playing with words. You are Petros, and on this Petra, a Petra refers to a boulder, a rock that you cannot hold, you cannot pick it up. It gives a clear reference to what Jesus mentioned when he said, when you are to build a house, you dig deep until you find a rock, a solid boulder that you can build from. That's the rock he's referring to. That's the literal and your word study of the word. And now you need to apply the grammar. You need to apply the grammar. Look at the next phrase. I will build. The I we identify is Jesus, and then it said will brings you the attention that this is a verb. And what kind of a verb? It's a future verb. That means Jesus will build his church. What does that mean? It will mean the church was not in existence during his time. When will he build? Future. Look at the text again. My church. Again, you apply your principle. You've got the grammar. You have to notice that that's a pronoun. And then my refers to Jesus. And then he said church, and again, or you observe. That word church, ecclesia, is singular. It's not plural. That's your grammar. That means Jesus will build one church, not churches. And he will do that in the future. And the gates of Hades will not overpower it. We know Hades as the place of the departed dead. Is Jesus referred to the place of the departed dead? He used a figure of speech. You apply your literal understanding, and then when you have the figure of speech, you interpret accordingly. What it means here is that even death itself will not stop the church. In what way? Because it said it will not overpower it. When the church is advancing, when the church is going out, many will be killed because of their faith. The gates of Hades is a reference to death, will not stop the church from advancing the gospel. Now that's what we mean by exegesis. You draw the meaning out of the text using your hermeneutical principle to let the people understand the text. We have not applied it because this is just exegesis. What does the text mean? And then we have applied the principles of hermeneutics to understand the text. That's how far we can go with the hermeneutics and the understanding of the passage, and we just take one passage, Matthew 16, verse 18. Thank you very much.